Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Waited a while. There it is again. Waited a while for Wolfie to bark. Surrounded by snow chickens. But yeah, welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. What am I doing here? I'm closing up the hidey hole from the previous episode. For safety's sake. Grabbing Wolfie, dropping off some trash. I'm a litter bug. I'm a bug who litters and continues walking west in episode 362 of Far Lands or Bust. June 6th, Friday, 2014. That is not at all the proper way somebody says the day's date. That's incorrect. That is incorrect, sir. But yeah, Friday, June 6th, 2014. Still raising money for Child's Play charity. Kind of an interesting date passed. A little bit of a, not a milestone, but an anniversary, if you will. Because on June 5th, 2011, on episode 31, episode 031 of Far Lands or Bust, was actually the first episode it was known as Far Lands or Bust, and that's when I first introduced the Child's Play charity fundraiser. The original fundraiser was for $820. And like I said, it was kind of around that time I had been hemming and hawing about the future of both doing YouTube and Let's Plays and Minecraft and my series. We obviously started walking to the Far Lands in episode 11, so it took me 20 more episodes to realize, first of all, A, it's garnering a little bit of attention, and B, it's gonna be a long journey. Perhaps I should add something to it that makes it a little bit more worthwhile than simply a dude walking west in one direction in a video game. So I decided, let's start raising money for charity. Let's do something good. And yeah, we've been doing that now ever since, and in total raised over, with the help, the amazing help of that one Mindcrack marathon weekend where we raised over $100,000 in 48 hours for Child's Play charity for Far Lands or Bust. We've raised in total of all years, in addition to that original $820, over $260,000 for Child's Play charity. This season, season 5, that was technically season 2. This is how it breaks down for you. See now, see. Season 1 of Far Lands or Bust was episode 1 through 30. That was before, that includes the first 11 episodes before we start the Far Lands journey. That includes before we started raising money for Child's Play charity, before we really found a focus. That was season 1, technically. Season 2, I started as episode 31, saying, yes, now we're doing Child's Play charity. We raised that original $820 goal in less than 5 days. So that I couldn't have culminated season 2 in like 3 episodes. So season 2 includes reaching that first $820, but also when I said, hey, since we've done that so easily, let's expand it and say $8,200 for the charity goal for that season. So that is what season 2 includes. And then I had the first Far Lands or Bust live stream at the end of season 2. Season 3 was the what was the goal then? I based it on the F3 number. I pressed F3 for the first time. It was 292,202. So season 3, the goal was $29,220, and we certainly reached that in due time. And then we had another flobathon where we more than doubled that amount to $72,000, and had that flobathon, like I said, the season 2 flobathon. The first flobathon is kind of lost to the history of time because it was pretty terrible. I had the old computer back then. It was my first ever live stream. I was not prepared. Although we did have a bunch of guests. That is, of course, the first time we talked to Good and B-double-O. We had Co-Star on, was like the big star of the show. We had Gavin popped in for a little bit, which was pretty awesome. Wait, did he? For the first flobathon? Yeah, he was there for the... No, not for the first flobathon. Wait, or was he? I'm confused. I think he showed up for a little bit near the end, didn't he? Anyway, Yeah, that was just like it was an 8-hour, 20-minute live stream that turned into 12 hours, but yeah, that one, it was getting like 3 frames a second because my computer couldn't deal with both Far Lands or Bust and broadcasting on Twitch. And then yeah, so that kind of lost, you know, think of that as like the lost episodes of Doctor Who, kind of lost to history. If you were there and you watched it, I do apologize for the poor quality, but we still worked out a live stream and raised some money there. I can't remember what the final total was, 11,000 or something like that, on top of the original $8,200 that we raised during that live stream. But yeah, then we had season 3 that ended with the second Flobathon. Season 4 was last season, a really long season because after pressing F3, we were at 699,492, and I said, well, let's, you know, since we raised, with the addition of the money we raised during Flobathon, $72,000, let's make the new goal $100,000, and I may have been overstating things a little bit, and that took over a year and a half. Of course, with the addition of the Mindcrack Marathon, we raised that money in 48 hours, and then plus the additional 40,000 that we had already raised for Far Lands or Bust, the ongoing season. So that was amazing, and then that wrapped up season 4, and we it just feels like yesterday, but that was back in March. It's June already. Back in March is when we started this season 5 of Far Lands or Bust, and taking a different approach, not necessarily a goal per se, but we were already up to, and this is the long lead up to the amount we're at today before I started recording this episode, $2,459.24. Raised for Child's Play charity, farlandsorbust.com. You can keep donating. I do appreciate it. Indeed. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to. It's an anniversary that you know, an important date that is kind of lost because obviously the first episode of my Let's Play, my first Minecraft video ever to go up on my channel, and then of course episode 11 was important. But yeah, episode 31 is kind of important, and that happened on June 5th, 2011, so keep that in your date books. And we got Wolfie on episode 32, so I announced the charity thing, and then I'm like, in the next episode, there's this dog here, let's see if I'll tame him. Because a few episodes previous to that, I had lost the annoying 5 dogs, the wolf pack, who was causing me major issues. They just ceased to follow as I was walking. So yeah, we've had Wolfie ever since episode 32 then, so pretty crazy indeed. So yeah, that's kind of a little interesting anecdote to start off the episode. Not too much, not too much, perhaps I haven't been keeping my ears open, or my ear to the floor, or my ear to the ground, or ear on the track. I'm not sure what the saying is, but I haven't really been seeing too much as far as space news, or as far as video game news. E3 is coming up, but really, I mean, there's been some interesting announcements and trailers and stuff, but not necessarily stuff I am particularly interested in. It's normally the AAA titles, the console announcements. It's very much more of an industry and press convention, E3 is, than, say, a fan or gamer, convention like your PAX or your PAX. That's really the only one I could really think of, a big one that I could think of that's kind of a fan gaming expo. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of the Rooster Teeth expo, but that's less about gaming as it is about the Rooster Teeth. What other gaming expos are there? Oh, like in Europe, there's Gamescom is the big, although that one feels a little bit industry-based. It seems like the European E3. Isn't there like a Eurovid Expo or something like that a few of the Mindcrackers went to last time? GameVid Expo is something totally different. That's the one that's up and coming here on that Good was involved with and went to, and seems like that's more focused on video game videos, content producers and stuff. But regardless, haven't been paying attention too much. Oh, out of the way, Wolfie! I gotta place a block. So I got elevated hidey hole here, and it is, however, Friday, so Fan Friday? I do have actually some comments and questions from both the comments of videos and the Twitter that I feel like I can answer here. And of course, I've got quite a few, a stack. Well, maybe not a full stack, not 64, but a bunch of questions from people who have donated to Child's Play charity that I can get to in the morning. And awakeness. Oh. Take that, Diamond Sword of Spawn Pointiness. I will reduce your usefulness by 1 point by destroying pointlessly a block of leaves. Indeed. So here we go. Here is a question from video comments a few videos ago. Luke Logan 2 asked, why was the shuttle scrapped? Well, it wasn't scrapped. They are in museums now. They, saying they were scrapped seems like they were taken to a junkyard and taken apart for scrap. But no, the shuttle... Careful, Wolfie. Boop. All right, that was instant recovery from that injury. Why was the shuttle scrapped? It's a very complicated topic, and simply searching for that question on Google will give you a whole bunch of different articles or op-eds and editorials about why it was scrapped or why it should have been and shouldn't have been scrapped and whatnot. Basically, it was old, is the short answer. It was designed and built and dreamed up in the late 70s. And obviously then put to work in 1981 was the first launch. I believe it was 1981, was it not? It was an old program. The vehicles themselves were old, although they had, throughout the years, been retrofit and upgraded. And, pretty much after almost every launch, they're, for the most part, taken apart and put back together. They have their engines removed and refitted and tested. And, it was really... when they say the space shuttle was reusable, it basically just the big shuttle, the body part of it was reusable. Everything else was kind of replaced and retrofitted between launches. But yeah, that's kind of the short answer. Is it was old. Its primary mission there at the end was to complete building the International Space Station, and that was complete, and therefore was retired. The long question is, or the long answer, I suppose I should say, is that it was expensive. Each launch, and this figure was figured out by taking the entire cost of the entire program from the late 70s, the design, the facilities, the buildings, the training, the salaries, all of that. If you split it, divide that by the 135 launches that there were, came out to $1.5 billion per launch of the space shuttle. Obviously, like I said, a lot of that money went into the design and the early, not necessarily every launch they didn't write a check for $1.5 billion. I know a lot of that was spent early on in the program or on other things, but yeah, $1.5 billion per launch. And, early on, it was... the space shuttle program was designed to be lowering the cost of space launches to make it more accessible. A lot of people don't realize that the original plan for the space shuttle, and why it's called the space shuttle, is when it was first brought up to the Congress and the Nixon administration at the time, it was supposed to be a package deal. We need the space shuttle and a space station, an American space station, because it's a space shuttle. It is supposed to shuttle people and objects to and fro this space station. That was the original design. Actually, the original design was a lot of that, the external tank, the big orange tank, was actually going to be, once brought into orbit, it wasn't going to be dropped off and burn up into the atmosphere. It was supposed to be used as segments, as parts of the space station to build, using you take out the fuel tanks from the inside of this large orange tank, and they could be modules of the space station. But regardless, the Congress at the time and the president, the administration at the time, only approved the space shuttle funding, not the space station funding. So they went ahead and they built and developed the space shuttle, but it had nowhere to go. There was nowhere to shuttle between, so it became, the space shuttle itself for the longest time became its own destination. It would launch, maybe launch a satellite, maybe it would have in its cargo bay a science module, and then it would do whatever it needed to do, and then it would return, which is not really the best use of it. Also, in the original plans, there was going to be a fleet of space shuttles. They were going to have up to, like, multiple launches per month. I'm talking dozens, up to, a launch, 2 or 3 launches a week, to the point where it was, thought to be almost like a commercial aspect. And actually, they, as NASA, they were basically building the space shuttle to test, it was a test platform, and then they would turn over the designs and the facilities and the space shuttles to a commercial launch platform, a commercial company who would then take it up, and then NASA would move on to the next new thing. And they built facilities in California to launch space shuttles from. Vandenberg Air Force Base, that launch facility, which now launches the Atlas Heavy, was actually fitted for space shuttle use, because that would be able to put the space shuttle into polar orbit for military launches and whatnot. Of course, the Challenger disaster happened, and that was all scrapped. It was seen as, oh, this thing is actually much more dangerous and expensive than we thought, and a lot of it was pulled back after the Challenger disaster. Obviously, it regained a lot of steam with after the Challenger disaster. They canceled. They used to launch commercial satellites on the space station, and also military spy satellites. There are still a few space shuttle missions that you can look into the history of the space shuttle mission, and the majority of the mission is classified still because they launched some sort of military payload. And the astronauts can't talk about it or anything like that, which is really weird. One of those is actually an early space shuttle flight where there was a foam strike on the heat shield that put the crew in danger. They returned safely, but there was a lot of, from the astronauts themselves, there was a lot of, there were some words exchanged. They couldn't detail or study or ask for help about, there's this gaping hole in the tiles from this foam hit that put us in danger, but because it was a top secret mission, they couldn't say anything about it, which was really silly. But anyway, that obviously comes back to bite them much later on. So yeah, that was all canceled after the Challenger. All the commercial launches, payloads, and military payloads were canceled simply because it wasn't worth putting the crew at risk for those sort of missions. On and on and on. And then, of course, more recently, the Columbia disaster happened with the tiles and whatnot, and it simply added more complexity and more danger to each of the space shuttle missions, and it was really, unfortunate. It was only until the end, the last 10 years of the space shuttle, that it actually was starting to fulfill its purpose of building and shuttling things between an actual space station, now that we finally have a space station. But of course, it was canceled because of the costs, because it was dangerous, and the final space shuttle launch was that of Space Shuttle Atlantis on July 8th, 2011 was the last time the space shuttle was launched. And it was, obviously I was not alive during the Apollo missions, so the space shuttle is kind of my spacecraft that I grew up with knowing. So, it was really, we can have sentimental attachments to it and whatnot, but we hope that we can now move beyond the space shuttle and to something that brings us beyond low Earth orbit. And, it's really unfortunate that NASA only has the budget really to be working on one program, manned flight program at a time. In a perfect world, they would have all the money that they need to maintain a space shuttle fleet, or perhaps design a new space shuttle that's safer and more reliable, and the next generation of space shuttle, perhaps. Whoop, this is a spawner. Is it? It is, probably. Here, have a seat, Wolfie. Oh, whoop, up, up. I said, no, over here. You're gonna, that whole sand thing is gonna collapse and you're gonna have a bad day. Boop, there we go. Let's check this out. Woof. Yeah, definitely a spawner. That is probably a chest right here. It's kind of deep. Whoa, hi guys, how you doing? What's up? Don't mind me, I'm just here to take your loot. Oh, there goes my shovel, however. What do you got in the loot? Nothing at all. I guess I could take that. Do you got another bag of loot in there? I don't really see one. Hup. You know what? I'll let you guys live out your lives of plenty, and have a good day. Have a good day. I'm going to go over here and build an elevated hidey hole. I appreciate the grains, the wheat, but we're going to go to sleep here. But yeah, I guess in conclusion, it's a very complicated topic that involves politics and money and safety and the somewhat non-direct mission of NASA and confusion about that. You know, also outgoing and incoming different administrations and presidents deciding what to do and what not to do. That really is a. It's an interesting tale. I'll say it's interesting. It's somewhat sad in general that there's such confusion and lack of direction with our space program. But anyway, we won't get into that. I hope I answered your question, Luke Logan 2. Let's continue answering questions in the morning. And awakeness. Kind of waited too long to go to sleep there. Creepers spawned. Are we safe around this general area? I think so. Let's make a boat. I guess we can make a shovel while we're at it. Make it the shovel. Whoop, excuse me. Wolfie. And make it a boat. There we go. Beep bop. Oh, I said beep bop. Another question I got, this time from Twitter. It's from Dr. Micah Kays, at Dr. Micah Kays. You are excellent to mime Sean Connery's voice. Can you do other people's voices? Not really on cue. Yeah, I'm not really good at impressions. I do different voices, but the only Sean Connery voice I can do is the one line in that one movie where he's the dragon or whatever. I am the last one. I mean, I suppose if I listened to enough Sean Conneryisms, I could maybe learn other ones, but it's not really a talent I possess. I am not an impersonator. I do not do impressions very well, per se. Yeah, that's really all that answer is all about. So yeah, if you can ask me, oh, what other people's voices can you do? I'm not going to start listing them all off. It's just kind of a random thing. I'll think of like an impression or a joke I need to make at the moment, and then I'll try my best, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it's terrible. Also, is snarky yellow text supposed to be what Wolfie thinks? Made a brief return in the last episode because I started walking in the wrong direction, and that's generally when snarky yellow text likes to chime in and give his opinion. But no, not really. It originally started, again, me thinking about ways to make things more interesting. It started early on. It was my own voice just making fun of myself doing stupid things or saying stupid things. Which pretty much sums up my entire Let's Play channel. In videos, you know, there are jokes I could have made in the progress of recording a video that I don't think of until I'm editing the episode, and that's where snarky yellow text came in. Kind of brought about by, who did that a lot? Was it? Remember Kitman1973? He did a lot of funny overlay text work And I kind of saw that, and I'm like, that there is funny. Let's see how I can apply that to my stuff. And like I've mentioned this many times before, because people often wonder, why is Snarky Yellow Text not around that much anymore? It takes a long time to add Snarky Yellow Text, because I have to watch an episode. Ooh, another spawner. I have to watch the episode in real time over again, and then go back and, oh, that's something I could say right here. Also, because as I've been doing Let's Plays long enough, I have learned and perhaps reduced the amount of mistakes I make in my commentary, but also the jokes I would be making with Snarky Yellow Text. I realize I could make them while I'm recording, so I end up making jokes about myself in my own voice while I'm recording that would have previously I would have missed the opportunity to, and then I would have brought Snarky Yellow Text in to do them. So a multitude of things that lead to the dismissal of Snarky Yellow Text. They'll pop in every once in a while, but in general, it's a time and effort issue, and also a simply, you know, if I were to watch an entire episode of Far Lands and bust through, I'd be like, I don't have anywhere to put Snarky Yellow Text in, because I've already done such a good job of making fun of how much of a goob I am throughout the episode on my own. So that is how that crumbles. Did I start using Snarky Yellow Text before I even had Wolfie? I think so. Some people, I suppose, can theorize that it's Wolfie's voice, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he does do the wolf. What do I want to do here? I want to do a boat. I can make more than one boat at a time is what I should do. So I will do. Beep up. So yeah, thank you very much for that question on Twitter. It caught my attention because it's kind of a newish thing that I don't talk about too much. That not that many people have asked about the the Sean Connery voice, or doing impressions or impersonations or things like that. But yeah, indeed, Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, we have a question from a donor here, anonymous, but says you follow Brendan Small on Twitter, musician and creator of the series Metalocalypse. I was wondering if you are listening to his music, and what other music do you like to listen to? I follow Brendan Small on Twitter because I like Metalocalypse. I also really I prefer, he was part of Home Movies, which also made an appearance on Adult Swim. The series Home Movies was a good series I really liked. It's kind of one of those series where a lot of stand-up comedians and whatnot made a lot of cameo appearances, and it seemed very, I'm not sure the story behind it, but it seems very improvised, and then they like drew afterwards, kind of like Dr. Katz was. You know, the scenes were roughly laid out, but the dialogue seems like it's all improvised between the comedians in the studio, and then they kind of later on draw around that, it seems, which I thought was really cool. But I really like Home Movies. I don't really listen to his music, perhaps ironically, as like the Metalocalypse music, because it's kind of a parody. It's kind of funny look at kind of that heavy metal. I don't even know what you would call it, to be honest. I don't know the classification. Death metal music. I just think it's kind of funny in that regard, the lyrics and just the type of music. But what other music do I like listening to? This is something I've talked about. Hi. Do you want me to shear you? Is that why you've come over here? I suppose so. Whoop. Wow, you dropped a lot of wool. Yeah, I guess he's like, this wool is overgrown. Please shear me. And now he's going to cool off with a dip in the pond there. So yeah, I think he was Wolfie. Beg your pardon. It's a pool party. Oh, I got sand on me. Got sand in my pants, sand in my shoes, sand where the sun don't shine. What happens when you go to the beach? So yeah, what music do I like to listen to? A lot of stuff. I don't listen to as much music as I would like, or that I used to, simply because it's an unfortunate side effect of doing this work that requires audio work, because I can't, you know, when I was a web designer, I would just plug in my headphones and listen to music as I was coding or designing or doing whatever. With this, obviously I can't listen to music now. I'm recording an episode, but I can't listen to music when I'm editing an episode either because I have to listen to the game or the audio that I recorded and make adjustments and edit with that in mind. So, kind of an unfortunate side effect. I was considering, I mentioned a lot of my more current favorite artists. Whoop, come back! Boat! Where are you going without me? This is a disaster. That's what I get for making 2 boats at once, right? I like, there's a couple bands came out with music in May. St. Vincent came out with a new album. Sharon Van Etten came out with a new album. People behind the Duke Spirit, the lead singer and one of the band members came out kind of a solo thing. They're calling themselves Roman Remains. I think they came out with something. But the thing is I wanted to, when they come out with a new album, they're on tour. I'm like, it'd be interesting to see a show. But unfortunately, both St. Vincent and Sharon Van Etten, their Chicago stop is at Pitchfork Music Festival. It's kind of like a smaller Lollapalooza. And from what I've heard, it's at a much smaller park in Chicago, and it's really crowded. And looking at the pictures from previous years, people seem to be packed in there like sardines. So I'm like, nope, I will not be going to that music festival, despite a few of my current favorite musicians being there, and that seems to be their only stop in Chicago. So, oh well, yeah, I haven't been to a music show in quite a while. When was the last one I've been to? Probably a Sigur Rós concert. But even that's been a couple years because the last year they came to Chicago, they were at Lollapalooza, and no thanks, not going to be going to that. Is this the last day? Yeah, it is. Okay. I've lost track of the days and the hours I've passed since walking here in Valanzabust, but just have to check to see if I have any leftover beds, and that'll let me know. So yeah, I like listening to music, and also on the last live stream I had Gabester. I burned a CD of that music. Gabester is, if you've watched any of the BeamNG Drive official trailers, is the music in the background, just instrumental music, really good actually. But you go on his SoundCloud and people ask, where can I want to buy like an album of your music. He's like, don't worry about it. He just offers it up for free download on SoundCloud. He's like, if you want to support me and what I'm doing, buy BeamNG Drive, because he's one of the developers on BeamNG Drive. Oh God, I should be making a bed. What am I doing? I'm getting attacked by skeletons. Let's go under. Oh God, careful, Wolfie! No. Okay, things. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Ha! I think that might be one of Wolfie's first hostile mob kills. All right, let's dig in here. Let's go, quicker. Yep, Wolfie's like pushing me. He's like, what are you doing, guy? Good gravy. All right, maybe Wolfie could come down and hide with me in here. So I think I need to, Wolfie, you gonna come down here? Wolfie? Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Come on down. There we go. All right, let's, okay, kind of block that off. Have a seat. Well done. That was, you kind of got caught in the crossfire there. You got hit by the skeleton when he was shooting at me. I do appreciate you taking a bullet for me, but please don't do that again. That is ill-advised. I think you're full up there. All right, so let me flesh out this kind of weird. Oh, dang it. Careful, Wolfie. Let's get some dirt on the bar, or maybe cobble will be better because I have more of it. Let's do that, and then that, and then that was the slowest block placement ever. Let's do the same thing. Whoop. Here, and then here. All right. Wow, it's like really late. Look at how high the moon was. I'm not even gonna have time to sleep here. All right. Wow. The ending of this episode is a disaster of the highest proportions. Let's, I don't know where to put my bed. Let's move Wolfie a little bit out of the way, but I don't want him to glitch into a block or anything. All right, let's, looking at me. What is wrong with you, man? Let's make a couple beds. Let's, make a boat. I've got like a bunch of just random stuff in my inventory. Let's break down the workbench and an interesting end to episode 362 of Far Lands or Bust. The footsteps, Wolfie. All right, Wolf. Yeah, let's go to sleep. Thank you very much for watching. I'm flustered. My name is Kurt. Keep donating to Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com. Going on now 3 years of doing so. So I do appreciate the continued support and continued support for Far Lands or Bust in my channel as well. Right, Wolfie? Right, Wolfie. Let's go to sleep. In 3, 2, 1, blast off.